Hello everyone, this is Gene from NYC and this is a Sunday video. I chose this particular game specifically because of the cover. It's DBZ, I believe that's Goku on the cover. And if you haven't heard, Sean Schemmel is the voice of Goku. I think if you're listening to this video you know that. But in case there are some people who don't know that, Sean Schemmel has come out and he has formally taken sides in the Vic Monica matter, and he chose Monica. His reason for choosing Monica is because he's known her, according to the tweet that he put out. And of course, many channels such as Super Saiyan Paul, Hero Hey, and others have covered this. His reason for it, according to his statement on Twitter, is that he's known Monica for 20 years and he admires her as a person and as a voice actor. And he tells the fans that unless they know what's going on, they have no right to basically state their opinions. First of all, to Sean, who I now consider a supporter of a monster, just like I consider Chris Sabat a supporter of a monster. If you've heard my videos, I said plenty of times that I wasn't going to say anything about Sonny Strait and Sean Schemmel until I got proof that they had chosen a side, and I've seen the proof now. I've seen videos, I've checked it on my own. And yeah, so just like them, just like Jamie and Monica and Chris, I feel that Sean and Sonny should also lose their jobs, and they should be kicked out of Funny. I want Funny as a company to burn. And I want those who are in Funny, who have nothing to do with it, to find work elsewhere. Because I want the House of Funimation to burn. And yeah, we should be watching. We should be watching the downfall of a anime company because of how they allowed false allegations and unproven claims. Because remember, neither Monica nor Jamie, to my knowledge, ever went to Funimation and filed complaints. And even Funny statement about how they did an investigation, I still find that totally suspect for many, many reasons. And I will be making that video on it. I can't make a video here because I want to do a lot of in-depth research, make sure I'm on my P's and Q's, all that. So I need to get back to work to make that video. So that video will probably be coming next week, but I have not forgotten it. But the reason I'm making this video isn't just to bash on Sean. It's to highlight something that I think gets lost or forgotten in the rigmarole and the back and forth about all this regarding Vic and Monica and Jamie and everybody picking sides. And I admit, I'm picking sides too. I'm by no means neutral. I am firmly in Vic's side. I firmly stand by Vic. But I stand by Vic not because I'm a fan of his work, but I stand by Vic because the opposing side, the people alleging misconduct, have engaged in more misconduct and more severe misconduct than Vic has. If he engaged in anything, which to my knowledge the only misconduct that he could have possibly engaged in is hugging people when they didn't want it, without knowing. Again, right, there's a difference between violating someone's space intentionally and unintentionally. I do think it's plausible and probably likely that Vic violated people's space unintentionally because he is a very physical, affectionate, huggy Italian guy. So I do think it is certainly possible that he hugged someone or kissed somebody on the cheek and he didn't know that this person didn't like that contact, and that person sadly never spoke up and told him, hey, I don't appreciate that. And I've experienced that myself, and I've told people, right, hey, I don't like that, let's just shake hands or bro hug, right, just because I, at the time, just was not comfortable with that type of physical contact with anybody, but especially with a man. It just made me feel weird. I don't blame the guy for behaving as he does and being physically affectionate. It wasn't about him, it was about me. I just wasn't comfortable with it, and I made that clear. And it's awkward for a moment, but then you move on. But the reason why I want to make this video really is to talk about the power of allegations and why allegations need to be reported and need to be properly investigated. Okay? And the reason I bring this up is because allegations, especially false allegations, can ruin people's careers. It can ruin people's lives. It can get people killed. Okay? Look, I don't like to bring up things on race, but this is one thing where I do have to bring up something on race because we are in Black History Month. I'm sure we are all familiar with the story, with the tragic murder of Emmitt Till. And how did that murder come about? It came about because of a false allegation. How do I put it? We all know the story, but I'm going to recap it. Emmitt Till was accused, just accused, never proven in a court of law, because by the time it went to court, he was dead. But he was accused by a white woman of grabbing her, being lewd with her. Basically accused of what we would call today sexual assault, right? Especially unwanted touching of a sexual nature, because the woman who accused him said that he grabbed her, right? So in today's laws, that would certainly be unwanted physical contact of a sexual nature. I repeat that Emmitt Till was accused. No one ever found proof outside of this woman's accusation. And again, by the time it went to court, he was dead and he couldn't speak for himself. And considering that this crime happened in Mississippi in the 1950s, the courts wouldn't have found him innocent anyway. And when it finally did go to court, in an all-white court, guess what? His killers, that woman's brother and her husband, were found innocent at the time. Now, of course, we know that it was false and that they're guilty of murdering an innocent boy. But at the time, right, it was a travesty of justice, and that's why people started speaking out, right? Both African Americans and some white people at the time. I don't ever want to see or hear in my lifetime. And I'm fortunate that I was born in the mid-'80s, so a lot of things had changed since 1955. In fact, I was born almost 30 years later after Emmitt Till was killed. He was killed in August of 1955. I was born in January of 1985, so just a little under 30 years later. And society changes a lot in 30 years. And I'm fortunate for that. But I never want to hear or see another Emmitt Till in my life, even as a historical footnote. Emmitt Till died because a woman lied about him. And her two avengers, her brother and her husband, thoroughly believed her. They had no doubt in their mind that what they were doing was right. But what they did was wrong. They put their trust in the wrong person. They went out and they decided to get mob justice without justification. Even if there was justification, there's still no justification for mob justice. But they decided to take the law into their own hands, and what happened? They killed an innocent boy who did nothing wrong. And that is many other reasons, but that is one of the biggest reasons why allegations need to be investigated and investigated properly. Because we don't need another Emmitt Till. We don't need another case of somebody being murdered for no reason, for an allegation that was later recanted. We don't need another case like Joseph in the Bible, who was accused by Potiphar's wife of rape, even though there was no proof. No one saw anything. All people saw was her, with his clothes in her hand, and her screaming, "Rape!" And he goes to jail for 10 plus years. If at all possible, I don't ever want to see cases like that again, even as stories, even as historical footnotes or biblical lore. And that is why I am so adamant about, if you've got an allegation, if something happened to you, go to the police. Go get it resolved legally. Because we need to try to avoid things like mob justice. We need to try to avoid things like Twitter justice. that ruins a man's career without just cause, without proof of anything, at least no solid proof. But anyway, I just wanted to just rant about that a little bit. I'm about to run out of memory for this phone for the videos, so I'll come back with a few more videos next week. Once I get back to work, I can store my videos and make some more. So I just kind of wanted to just get that off of my chest. So all the kick Vickers out there, so all those who are siding with Monica, because it's Monica and she would never lie. Yeah, the husband and brother of the woman who accused of Emmitt Till no doubt thought that too. And yet what happened? She recanted her story, and Emmitt Till still died over nothing. So anyway, that was a heavy brooding video, but it had to be said. Have a nice Sunday, everyone. Bye.